Hey, what's up, Facebook family and friends? It's Nisan coming to you live. I am outside, it's sunny, so I had to put on my ball cap to be able to look into the camera, look into the lens, and hopefully the sun won't be a distraction. I'm coming to you on my porch, my deck outside my home, and that's sort of like my getaway from my two little boys right now. I want to talk to you about the one thing. I read a book over the weekend by J. Pappison called The One Thing. I would recommend that book to anybody who wants to dominate their path, who wants to stay laser focused, and use their gifting to live in massive success. Hey, what's up, Claire? Thank you so much for joining. And so this book, The One Thing, had several points, and I'm going to do my best to paraphrase the awesome points that I learned from this book. What's up, Tim? Appreciate the like, man. We're about to go in for about maybe 10 minutes to talk about the one thing. Here's the issue. Choices are a friction in our life. Choices are friction. Wow. Think about that. All the things that we have to decide. Did you know that the human brain, on averages, thinks about 4,000 thoughts a day? 4,000 thoughts the human brain thinks per day. And so we are inundated with choice after choice after choice. And so as a consequence, the challenge is, how do we focus on the one thing to dominate our path? If you would just eliminate the weapons of mass distraction that comes through choices, that even comes through social media and the fast-paced society that we live in, and focus on your gifts and your talents, or dare I say, and focus on your gift, singular, and your talent, singular, then you will be able to dominate and be perhaps the very best at it. Think about this. Toys R Us. They sell toys. KFC, they sell chicken. Harley Davidson, they sell motorcycles. And they focus on that one thing, continuing to get better and better and better at it until the market is forced to put them in high demand. Isn't it interesting that in order to grow, you have to be able to have a level of focus that is second to none in that one thing? I want you to think about LeBron James, and I know there's a lot of controversy around his name, but he is a three-time champion. He is also an MVP as well. I think a 3 or 4-time NBA league MVP, but it didn't start off that way. There was a point in time where LeBron James couldn't even dribble. He couldn't pass. He was too short to dunk, but he focused on his craft, that one thing that led him to be where he is right now. You got to be able to focus on the one thing. I love what Og Mandino says. He says, those who concentrate on the one thing are the ones who advance in life. And maybe the fact of the matter is you're trying to do too much too soon. I want you to begin to no longer think about a to-do list, but start to think about a success list. A to-do list feeds the ego. A to-do list is very long. A to-do list doesn't necessarily mean that you're headed in the right direction. Just because you're busy, your busyness doesn't mean that you're all about business. Do you understand what I'm saying? A success list is much shorter. Let me give you an idea of that. My success list, every day I'm trying to focus on ways I can motivate and inspire people, on ways I can work on my craft. Every day I'm trying to focus on how can I be better as a speaker, how can I present great content to people that will help them grow to the next level, how can I even help the clients in my fitness business, Trot Fitness, be more focused towards their goals. And I am tuned in, dialed in, essentially to that one thing, because I know that my gift and my talent is motivating people, is inspiring them, empowering them, and speaking into their life from my heart. You got to be able to focus on the one thing. Success demands singleness of purpose. Success demands singleness of purpose. That's the words of Vince Lombardi. He was a championship coach. He was the one who led the Green Bay Packers to the championship ring. And he was able to galvanize his troops. And the reason why they were successful is because they came together on one accord. And that one accord was to win a championship. So I want you to do an assessment of everything that you're doing. Take inventory of everything that is involved in your life and think about the things that are unnecessary. And now I want you to start to eliminate and cross some things out of your life. Nix some things right now that aren't getting you to your destination. There is a straight line to success that we all need to follow. But what happens is the idea fairy comes along, and because the idea fairy looks good and sounds good, we then lose our focus. But in order for you to be at the next level, you got to be about the one thing. I love the words of Jesus as he was pulled in so many different directions. He said this, I must be about my Father's business. The one thing. The one thing. I want you to press like until your hand starts to turn red. If you understand with me that this is the season, this is the time period in your life where it's so important for you to be focused on one thing. One thing is going to help you be set apart. One thing is going to help you reach the next level of success. So I want you to get the book by Jay Papasan called The One Thing, because there are so many things that are good in it. And this is a question that I want you to write down if you're taking notes. Write down this. What is the one thing I can do today such by which when I do it, it makes life easier and simple for me? I'm going to repeat that question. What's the one thing I can do today such by doing it, it will make life simpler and easier for me? It will eliminate the unnecessary. Because what I find is that we are not good at mastering the mundane. The things that we need to focus on every day in order to grow. But because our cell phone is ringing, because our email inbox is full, because we have the red notification on Facebook, the fact of the matter is we lose our focus and we lose the intentional effort that it takes to be successful. You can also go to theonething.com. It has a lot of notes on the book itself, cliff notes, I believe, and different exercises that you can do to start to focus on the one thing. Stephen King, I'll give you a couple more points, then I got to get out of here. But Stephen King, he's known as one of the world's greatest writers. And the best people in the world who have almost a surreal amount of focus, they operate in time blocks. And so the time blocks that they use aren't for 30 minutes, aren't for an hour. Those who are very good at focusing on the one thing, here's how they do their schedule. Are you ready for it? This is good. They schedule things in time blocks of 4 hours. Wow. Time blocks of 4 hours. So when Stephen King gets ready to write in the morning, he blocks out 4 hours of his time to do that. Think about that. Perhaps Bill Gates, who is known as a computer programmer before starting Microsoft, he focused on the one thing, didn't go to college, and he time blocked in hours of 4+. That is amazing. That is crazy. You have to begin to look at your schedule, change things around, and focus on the one thing, and do it over and over and over again, and then you'll be great. It's the one thing. I forget the gentleman at this point in time that is one of the richest men in the world. I'm losing his name right now. He's a billionaire. He's an investor. And I found out what he did to be successful. You ready for this? he reads in the morning 6 hours before he starts his day. Can you imagine that? We're not talking about a 15-minute devotional. We're not talking about reading the Facebook news feed. This multi-billionaire reads 6 hours before he starts his day. And you know what he found out in that one block period of time? Is that when reading, he found out this idea came to him to purchase Coca-Cola. Now, of course, all of us don't have the capacity to do that, but he purchased Coca-Cola, and then he raised the stock price by 1 cent, and he became millionaire all over again, multi-millionaire, with just that one idea that came through 6 hours of reading. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend 6 hours reading. I'm not saying that you have to put that much time in one thing per day, but I want you to start to stretch, however, the time that you spend on the one thing. The only way that I can be great at motivational speaking and great at inspiration and empowering you is by spending time on it and dominating it one day at a time, one moment at a time. Remember, choices create friction. Eliminate the weapons of mass distraction. Figure out what your gift is, what your talent is, singularly, and then focus on that until you become the very best at it. If you're having trouble figuring out what your gift is, what your talent is, maybe this is another video for another time, but suffice is to say, whatever things that you're good at, that people applaud you for, who you trust will give you great advice when you're operating in your gift, and they're celebrating you because you're just that good at it, that's probably something that you should be spending more time on. Or whenever you're doing it, time sort of freeze frames for you, and you lose track of time because you have so much fun doing it, then that's probably something you should be focusing on a little bit more. Or if it comes natural to you, if it's easy for you to do, if you are like me and you love to speak and you don't necessarily stumble over your words as much, you don't use a whole lot of ums, you are able to use voice inflections and you're not monotone, then maybe that's a gift that you should be spending more time on. Here's the great thing about God. He placed the vision in a place where you can find it. He placed it in your heart. So I want you to search through the deep navigations of your heart to find what exactly it is that you should be doing, and then spend tumultuous amount of time focusing on that one thing until you dominate it. God's going to take you places. I really do believe that. Thank you so much for joining me on this one video. Facebook Live. I'm going to be doing more of this. I want you to subscribe to my channel. I believe there's a way for you to do that. I wish I could instruct you how. I have no idea. But subscribe to my videos and you'll get updates when I'm going live again. And let's be fair. If this was good for you, let's be fair and share. I want you to share this video with somebody who needs to learn how to focus on the one thing, because life is not meant for you to always be constantly feeling like you're running in zigzags. This is the time of your life to stay focused and head in the right direction, because you have tunnel vision. Success compounds itself. I'm going to teach you one last concept, and then really, for real, your boy got to go. It's called the domino effect. Have you ever witnessed dominoes when they fall down succinctly together? What happens, the first one falls, and then that first one that falls is able to knock down something 50% larger than what it is. And then that just compounds over time. So if this makes sense to you, something very small, that's the first domino, can knock down something 50% bigger, and then that next piece can knock down something 50% bigger than it, and it goes on and on and on, and then you can knock down the size of Peyton Manning as a quarterback, then you can knock down the Eiffel Tower, because the domino effect is just that potent and real. When you start to head in the right direction, success compounds itself, and you'll be at a place of massive success doing big things. You can go from LeBron James not being able to dribble, not being able to pass, not being able to shoot, not being able to dunk, but as you dominate your path and stay on the right place, you'll become an MVP. I want you to share this video. I need you to press like 1,000 times. I also want you to subscribe to my videos as well. And by the way, I do life coaching on the side. If you are interested in that, you can inbox me. My schedule is really full, but what I can at least assure you is this. I would love to send you a link to where you can fill out a questionnaire, and I will offer, for this moment in time, 5 free life coaching consultations for 30 minutes so that we can help you work on the one thing. Until the next time, you have a supernatural power in you to accelerate and excel. Hands up like a champ.